Hey guys, welcome back. Well, today is going to be my second video in my new series of the Trash or Treasure. And again, this will be examining products that I pick up off of these sites such as eBay, which this product today came from as well. Or it could be Wish or AliExpress or Banggood or any of those, Chinese-based sellers. And today's product is a really cheap smart band, fitness band, whatever you want to call it, or a smart watch. There's different names they go by, these products. This is basically a no-name branded smartwatch. The actual name on the eBay listing is waterproof Bluetooth smartwatch phone mate for iPhone, iOS, Android fitness watch. You can sort of see why they did that, because there's a lot of different names that these go by, especially when this doesn't actually have a brand name. And as you can see, this is $13.99, or as I would say, $14, of course. Based here in the U.S., it's a U.S.-based seller, so it didn't take me long to get this. As you can see down here, somebody else has one of these listed for even $1 less, so I actually could have probably paid less for it, though it looked like that listing had ones that were specific to certain types of phones, which was odd. But this just seems to be universal, and it binds by Bluetooth to your smartphone. They have it in pink and white. Black was out of stock. I got pink, not because I like pink, but hey, I'm man enough to admit if I did like pink, I would not be ashamed of that. But my daughter wants one of these, so I'll let her have this whenever I'm finished with it. But let's just go look at the listing here. This should be down at the bottom as well, and it is, it looks like. At least some of the pictures are. Let's go ahead, we'll go back up here and look through these. First, I always like to go over the product description, especially since I've been wearing this now for over a day. I already have it out of the package, and the instructions are very, very basic, and more importantly, they're difficult to read because they're so small and poorly written that a lot of the information that you want, you're going to need, is going to be from the listing itself, because you're not going to get it off the box. Again, it's just basically unbranded. So anyway, it shows the person working out here, healthy lifestyle. Yeah, we got that. Multiple sport modes. It does have that in there, and I just recently figured out how to get into this, because as you'll see, there's only one basically button on this smartphone. It's not an actual touch screen that you have to actually use to access everything. It does have sleep monitoring, though I don't see a sleep monitoring screen like this in the actual smart watch face. It's actually in the app, which we'll go over the app once we get into the table review portion of it. Show you what app you actually use with this, which actually is a pretty decent app. Here's, of course, the colors: black, pink, and white. I think that's maybe some screens back here. Yeah, there's a few back this way. Here it's showing you the monitoring of your heart using that greenish light that's underneath that shines down on your skin. And this, I think they'll mention it in other spots. If they don't, I'm going to tell you right now, this doesn't do more than just your heart rate. This will also do your blood pressure and your oxygen level. That's pretty incredible for something at this price. Now, my understanding is on these blood pressure monitors, it uses a different method. It's not terribly accurate, and it certainly wouldn't be used for medical reasons or medical purposes. So it's not going to do as good as an actual contracting, pump up, arm, like they do at the doctor's office. So my Mi Band 5, which I'm wearing, and for this review I wore it side by side with this no-name branded watch. I'm going to call it that lots of times because it doesn't have a name brand. It doesn't have blood pressure or the oxygen level. It's just a pulse that it has for the heart features, because that's pretty accurate. And I've tested that even my older Mi Bands against the doctor's office, and it was very, very close. So keep that in mind. This is not going to be terribly accurate on the blood pressure and the oxygen level. So that's probably why my Mi Band doesn't have it. But the Mi Band will be my baseline. I'm going to sort of use it against the features this watch has that it also has. Yeah, Ryan has it. Like it also has. So I can sort of see how close is it. Assuming the Mi Band is pretty close to accurate, which from my experience it is. Maybe not Fitbit level, but it's really good. So we'll use that as the baseline. Moving along, just shows you, the BPM. So yes, it does show it there. to do your blood pressure. And just different, there's a couple of different face plates or screens that it loads up as you scroll through, and you can tell it to do the blood pressure in the different modes from the actual watch itself. But although again, you're just limited to one button, so it can be a little tricky remembering long press, short press, or you can just do it from the app, which is probably a little easier at times. You can get notifications from the apps that are on your phone that are compatible with the fitness app, so that it can actually send you messages. Again, we'll go over all that in a moment. It is IP67 waterproof, supposedly, though I don't know if I would test that out or not. And it just mentions a 240 by 240 high definition resolution screen if you want to consider 240 by 240 high definition. It's 1.3 inch screen, narrow border design. And the way you charge this, which I'll show you again in a moment, is you actually pull the wrist strap off and it plugs into a full-size USB port. And again, it's hard to tell that because it doesn't really have diagrams and instructions, and it's without a magnifying glass, even a younger person is probably not going to be able to read those instructions very easily. Let's scroll down and see, is there anything down here that's any different. They have some of the specs down here. Android 4.4 or later, iOS 8 or later, Bluetooth 4.0 or later, which, unless you have something really ancient device, that's not going to be an issue. 150 milliamp hour built-in battery. On mine right now, it shows a half battery. I don't know how accurate the meter will be. These cheaper devices tend to lots of times have very poor at displaying the battery percentages, which this is just a meter. And I've been charged for 2 days, I think. Really only been used for a day. So obviously, if that is the case, it's going to have very poor battery life. For my Mi Band, I can easily go weeks and weeks, and if I have a lot of things turned off on it, it's not uncommon to go a month on one of those. I guess 32 kilobits of memory. That's probably kilobytes. And it says it's USB 3.0, which I don't know why it would say that, because you're not transferring any data through the USB port. You're just using it to charge. So I think that's just a little bit of marketing there. It means it can plug into any USB port and charge. And 5 to 10 meters distance it can be, I guess, to transmit on a sync to your phone. Again, that's going to be limited to your Bluetooth range. And that's pretty much it. So there's not a whole lot on the listing. Let's see, is there any more? That looks like those are all the same photos down here that we scrolled through at the top. Alright, so what I'm going to do at this point, we'll go over to the table, show you the actual watch itself, the little bit of nothing you can get with it inside the box, and then I'll try to go over some of the features, compare it to the Mi Band again, show you some screenshots from both this device and my Mi Band app that I use to show you the differences between the two and to give you my closing thoughts on it. So we'll be right back with that. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the watch. Now the watch comes inside this little flimsy box, and as you can see, it just says Smart Band, your health steward. And just some very little information. There's a little bit of spec information on the back, but it's just nothing much. There's a plastic little insert in here that it sits in, and here is your instruction manual. And boy, it is not much. Chinese on one side, English on this side. Here's your QR code for that app, which I'll show you in a moment. You have to obviously scan that. It's so hard to read this. But the actual band comes with the wrist bands off of it, so it can sit in the package. But when you put with those off, that's where you can access this USB charging little connector on the side. So it doesn't do any kind of data transfer. It's just to plug it in and charge it. So just go ahead and put these back on. Hopefully I got it the way I like. If not, I'll have to flip them back around. But there is the band itself. So you have this button right down here that is your control button. The touch screen does not work. Now when you first start it up, it'll be on this default faceplate, which has the more military time. Here in the United States, I'm accustomed to more the standard time format that at least we like to use here. I know a lot of other countries, they use more the universal type time or whatever. I don't know if that's what you call it or not. But anyways, the screen's got a quick timeout on it here before it goes to sleep. But to switch that, you just do a long press and it'll switch. Now look, I got 10:55 p.m. Yeah, it's late at night. And it shows I have 254 footsteps, which you'll see in a moment. That's not accurate for the whole day. I'm not that lazy. Some people might say, oh, I think you are. But that is because I resynced it with this other phone, since I'm using my main phone to film this, and it reset the watch. So everything got reset. I probably did this again here where I keep changing the faceplate. This is the one, of course, I like. Then you can scroll through some of these options. And originally I thought these were just telling you what the watch could do, these other menus, but actually you long press on them here. So hopefully this is focused in. I'm making sure my phone is. And you do a long press. And you can get in here and do your step, shows you your step information more specifically. Same stuff you can get within the app. Hopefully this will come out here. Maybe you have to do a long press to get back out. Then this is your blood pressure monitor, which I'll do this in a moment when I put it on my wrist, so I can actually have it tested, and we'll compare it to testing it with my Mi Band, which again, this is my baseline. This is what I'm going to say is accurate, even if it's not perfect. This will be a lot more accurate than some of the other cheap ones, so let's see how it compares to that. And then in here is your sport modes. This is what I was thinking of, a long press, and you go in here, you got to run, for running, sit-ups, and doing a jump rope or skips, it says. And message, if you click this, it'll let you read a message you got from your phone, like a text message. Right now it says null because there aren't any, since I just set this up with this other phone. You can have it do Facebook, and Facebook just says Facebook, but sometimes it'll work with the Messenger app and not. I mean, it's just a limited list of apps you can use to have it notify. A phone call it can do, text messages. And then more, if you do a long press on more, you got your camera, which I believe this will be like your shutter control, lets you take a picture. I'm not going to mess with that right now. Of course, now we got to go back, because as soon as I step away, or move my hand away, I should say, I lose that. This lets you notify your phone if you're looking for your phone. Though all it did is bring a message up, like it says, looking for the phone there. So it didn't actually, maybe because it's muted. Let's see. I don't know, it's not playing any messages. You think it would do a some sort of a ringtone or something. I know I'm moving this all over the place because I'm looking at the phone. And then if you hold down on more again, let's go at camera, looking for theme. The theme is the same thing. It's, oh damn it. This is a problem with not a real touchscreen. The theme is just going between the two faceplates. And then if you go here, reset the device, and then a QR code reader, which I don't know if that's from the instruction manual maybe. That might have helped me out. I didn't realize this until a while ago this was here. Alright, could be a QR code for the app download. And then a shut down the watch. I guess if you want to turn it off just to save money, save money. Boy, my words are not coming well today. Save battery, then you would hold that down a long press. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to put this on, and it's not always super easy to get this on because it is an oddball wristband in my opinion. And this is not the way I usually like to have it, but I don't need to get it on perfect for this. It's going to be really loose, but I'm going to hold it in place. If you have I have really small wrists for a man. I'm not a small guy. I mean, I'm around 6 foot or 200 pounds, but I have very small wrists. If you're a big burly guy, then these bands may not fit you, because I mean, it's not going to go a lot larger than what I have. And now this I don't have tight right now. So just keep that in mind. So what we're going to do is, you can do this with the app. I'm going to go over the app here in just a moment. But if you just want to do it from the actual watch itself, we're going to go to BPM. We're going to hold long press, and now it should start up. And hopefully this will show up. I'm going to get down here. And it'll show us all 3 readings here. Okay, so it says my heart rate's 77. My oxygen level here, and I see it went away. Hopefully this will come back up. No, it's going to read it again. Oh my, this screen timeout's too quick, so I'm going to be really fast here. This is going to be your blood pressure. This is going to be 97% oxygen, 108/75 is my blood pressure, and was it 83 in the pulse? Well, that's really quick. Anyway, we can read that from the app itself, and I can show you those. We'll do another measurement from the app. From the app. On my Mi Band, that screen's probably going to be easier to read. You can see the difference here. Even though this is a bigger display, this is a much better resolution, just a better product. But it's also, at least twice as much, depending on what you pay for it. This is a touch screen, so I'm going to go to my heart, click it, click the refresh button, and let it go. And we'll see what it gets. We were somewhere in 77 to 83. Let's see if we get a similar one. It may take it a little longer to read, because I think it gets a little better reading. But from what I've done here, now this could be off because I'm doing more, so heart rate could be going up. But I usually, that says 102. Well, that's not going to be right. I don't think my heart rate's 102, but sometimes you can get erroneous readings on any of these by the way the band's sitting on your hand. So what we'll do, in a minute when we get into the app, I will do another reading on those. For my past tests of this, the Mi Band was in the off-brand no-name band were within 2 or 3 heartbeats if they were done back to back. So it seemed to be really accurate. I can't attest to the blood pressure or the oxygen. I have no way of testing that. And again, from what I read online, that's a really new technology. Surprising it's in something so cheap, in my opinion. But it's something you don't want to rely on for your medical use. Obviously, you don't go to the doctor's office right now, at least, and they put on a little band and it takes it. They have to pump it up and use the old-fashioned pressure to stop the blood flow in your arm. So again, the app for this is the QR code is right here. I'll put a screenshot of that app up here. The app is called the Fit Pro. We'll get into that. Now I need to update it, so that should be refreshing. Now it shows the 258 steps, which again is only in the last hour or so since I bound or connected the Bluetooth from this phone and the app to this band. It was running on my Pixel, which I'm using to film this. Now, when you first start the app up, it'll tell you it'll have it under, I think, the set button down here. It'll say you need to bind to a device for better use or something. Click that, it'll go through, and really quickly it'll go through 4 things, connect it and bind, and then you'll see the Apple light, this faceplate will light up and the phone's ready to go. Or excuse me, the phone. The smartwatch is ready to go. It's late, guys, so bear with me. So on the home screen, the first thing you look at are those steps. And what I've noticed, I'm going to put a screenshot here of, I had the foresight to remember to take a photo with both bands on my arm while they were still both taking information, because again, this one's been reset. And the footsteps on this no-name one is considerably lower than the Mi Band. So my guess, and I'm just looking at it here recently, it seems to be really low just from when it was reset, is your footsteps are going to be low. So you're going to think, man, I walked a lot and it doesn't say it. It's just not very accurate. It's going to be a bit low. It was low by 500 to 600 footsteps compared to the Mi Band. So keep that in mind. It's just going to be a bit low from my experience so far. But when you get connected, you can once you refresh the data, you click on the steps, it'll bring up more detailed look. And you can see here's a bar graph. Shows just for this last hour, 254 steps, 0.1 miles, 7.7 calories burnt, which will also show some of that on the faceplate here with the 7 calories that shows up and the 258 footsteps. We go back over here and you can see some of the information right here. Your target goal, I think this is set to 5,000 footsteps right now. So I guess it'll do some sort of a little trophy or something on the phone when you reach it. My Mi Band does that as well. You have a health rating, which is going to say I'm horrible. I think it says I'm an F. You can tell it's reevaluate. It's got my body weight and stuff that you can change in here, which I'll show you guys in a minute. Here's where the heart rate is. So we can do a reading of that here and try to compare it. I'll have to do the Mi Band though from the itself, since the app is on the phone I'm using to record this video. So I'm going to put this down and let's try to relax a bit. I'm going to tell it to start measuring, and we'll get the information here on the phone. So don't have to look at the smartwatch or fitness band. And this will give us more time to look at it. So it says I have a 73 pulse, which sounds pretty accurate, 95% oxygen, and 110/73 blood pressure. That sounds pretty reasonable. I'm not doing a whole lot right now. I'm in my house. All I'm doing is standing. It should be pretty easy. I'm not like in horrible shape. So again, these are going to be iffy. On use it just as a general idea would be a good way to put it, especially for something that costs less than $15 and was shipped free. It seems impossible they could even make money off this. How can you produce something that can do this much and cost that little? Okay, let's go back here and look at some of the more main things on the main screen. And here's your sleep analysis. Now, keep in mind on sleep analysis, the software on the phone is doing a lot of the grunt work in terms of analyzing it. So it's going to depend on what algorithms it uses, how it determines how many movements and such would be considered awake or asleep. So keep that in mind. So this app is obviously considerably different than the app that I used in my Mi Band, which isn't the official Mi Band, Mi Fit app. It's a Notify for Mi Band app, which is a lot better. I'll put a screenshot of the sleep analysis between this one, which I wore both of them on my wrist, just like I am now. I did that yesterday, last night, and you'll see there that on this app, it showed me getting about an hour and 15 minutes less sleep. The Mi Band was actually correct. Yes, my sleep schedule was messed up. I was up very late and I slept in. So the Mi Band was more accurate in terms of the total sleep time today, which is nice, but this was not terrible, but it was about an hour and 15 minutes off. But interestingly enough, around 6 a.m. I was awake for about an hour, still laying down though. And as you can see from the screenshot, this cheap no-name band did show me awake during that time. I think it shows around an hour. I'm going by memory here. The Mi Band said I was still in a light sleep. So again, that was that algorithm, the app. In the one I use in the Mi Band, you can select different type of sleep analysis. Is that right? Analysis. You could select those. So changing it around might change how it sees that. But this app by default just saw me as being awake when the Mi Band thought I was still asleep. Again, that's just software related. But when I got up, when I finally did get up, the Mi Band knew that. But when I was probably awake, before I got up, then this app thought I actually had gotten up at that time. So it made my sleep appear shorter than it actually was. So anyway, the sleep analysis seems, I would call advantage again to the Mi Band, but there was some things, like I said, that was more accurate in the one night test I did with this one. So it'll show your deep sleep, your light sleep, and your awake percentages. Here's your meter where it'll have it all. Again, you can see that in the screenshot. And this is where you can switch to the days, which again, just bind to this. I have no other days on here. You have your healthy habit. I don't think this works unless you're logged in. I'm not. I don't know what that does. This is for setting up the app. This is what this says up here. It shows you the name of the band and the firmware version. I've already checked that. There's no new firmwares for this. The find is that same thing, letting you locate the device. So this is the opposite. It's locating the band and not the phone. Remote shutter is going to be taking photographs or video, whatever, with the some sort of remote shutter control. It may be letting you set that up. Let's see what that says. Allow it to take pictures. Okay, it's just, I don't know, it's just bringing up the phone. I mean the camera. I don't know. Because you're going to be doing that with this to your phone. Message push, okay? Message push is just basically turning on the apps that you want to have the messages pushed to the smart device. So you got call remind, SMS remind. So your phone calls, your text, WeChat, which of course is much more popular in China than here in North America. QQ app, one I've heard of but never used. Your Facebook, Twitter, Line, which is another chatting program. WhatsApp, another big popular one overseas. Instagram. These down here are not supported by some bracelets. I don't think it works on iOS. These Skype, Kakao and LinkedIn. I don't know what that Kakao is. Resetting the device resets the band remotely. Remove lets you unpair it. Other, I don't remember what was under other. If it was just your vibrating on and off. If you want the band to vibrate when it gets notified, or you get any kind of a text. And OTA upgrade is going to be your firmware upgrade. You click that, and it says it's checking. And there was no update a while ago. Yeah, it says the latest version, no need to update. Now up here at the top, you got some more options. And this one right here, it says brightness control, oddball name, but what this is when you turn your wrist up, I don't know if it's going to be easy to do this, the band should light up, but I'm not going to be able to show you that here, I don't think, within the limited area I have. My Mi Band is set to do that as well. When you rotate your wrist, or you lift your arm and rotate, it will make the display wake up so you can see it like you're looking at your watch. That's what that is. And oh, I see why. It's between 8 and 22 hours, so it's 8 in the morning, 10 p.m. So that's why it's not doing it. It's actually disabled right now because it's 11:13 p.m. That's why, Ryan. But it's also difficult to do that in that little area as well. So that's what that is. Do not disturb, well, what you think it is. If you want it to not bother you about anything, turn that on. Here's your alarms you can set. If you want to set up some alarms to have it, I'm sure it'll make an alarm symbol and vibrate and it'll wake you up. And a daily sedentary reminder. This is a notification you can set up that, hey, you've been sitting too long, get off your butt and go do something. So that's all those. Motion's going to be for walk, run, and bike. Just start monitoring those activities. Same thing you can do from the band. And in here, it's got some of your same information. Your user profile. You can go set up your sex, your age, your height, weight, your target, step, and goal. Your goal. And your distance unit, weight unit, and height unit, which I use the imperial system. But it seems like it constantly resets this. It says mile there, but it said km. So it may not let me. There, it's going to change it. It'll change it to miles, but then as I went back here, the second time it's done that, it changes back to kilometers. But so you have to your height in just total inches or centimeters. So you can see I do need to lose a little bit of weight. But then it lets you see all your units in the measuring system you're used to, which if you're not in the United States, you're going to be using a metric system. So for most people, you don't need to change that. About just going to tell you to scan to download the app, which is probably what the watch was doing as well. And this is to let you log into their probably cloud-based to back up your data and stuff, which I did not do and don't really feel comfortable doing. But that should be everything inside of the band. Overall, The band is, let's see, log in first. That's probably that same thing. I'm hitting that trophy up here. Overall, the app is pretty darn good. Now, oddly enough, when I was using this app on my Pixel, I was getting a lot of ads. And when I go back, I'd be bombarded with ads. I have not got a single ad on this phone, which I don't know why. This is a cheap Chinese phone I'm going to review on the channel soon, and I love it, but I don't know if that's why. But boy, on the Pixel, I was getting bombarded with ads, sometimes 30-second ads you can't get out of. Now again, this is a free app. I don't think this app is exclusive to this band. I could be wrong. So it could be the developers just trying to make some extra money. I get that, but it's a bit annoying when every time I go into a category, I get bombarded with ads. So keep that in mind. You may be getting bombarded with ads on this. So keep that in mind. All right, well, otherwise, I think we kind of concluded everything. In terms of comparing this to the Mi Band, which is not what this review was meant to be, the Mi Band is better, but it's over twice as much money. If you're really wanting to save money, I can't call this trash. I thought I probably almost certainly would, but I mean, the steps, yes, were low, but it does record them, but it's more of a ballpark, you know, which most of them are, but it was pretty low. But the heart rate was very close to the Mi Band. The blood pressure and the oxygen levels, I can't attest to the accuracy, but they looked, well, at least the blood pressure looked, when I go to the doctor's office, it looks correct. It looks within acceptable range for doing nothing right now and not being under stress or physical activity. Oxygen levels, they've done that before with the little thing they clip on your finger. It was in the same area, so I'm sure that's reasonable. But my goodness, I mean, for what this does, now again, I can't attest to the battery life, so I don't know how long this battery is going to last, because I'm not going to go to that extent to hold off on the review just to find out the battery life. But for what it is, $14, it's not bad. Now, it's not as bright as this one. I can bump the brightness up on the Mi Band, so if you're outside in the sun, yes, this is going to be hard to read, so you're going to have to cup your hand probably or go into the shade to read it, so keep that in mind. But again, $14. I don't, it was free shipping. I don't see how I can say avoid this by based off pretty thorough checking over and review by me. I don't see how I can say this is junk. I'm a bit surprised. So if you're looking for a cheap smart band, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't consider this band, especially if you don't have access, if the Mi Bands aren't available or you just want to get one as a gift. This would be really good for a kid or even an older person because the screen is larger. So it's going to be easier for someone with poor eyes to read compared to a smaller one like the Mi Band. Obviously, even a good band, you get a Fitbit or something, you spend $100, $150, I don't know what they cost. I know they're not cheap. Then obviously that's what you want to do. But if you want to get something on the budget, or maybe you got to know somebody who is prone to losing stuff, this isn't going to matter if you lose this. It's 14 bucks. You don't want to lose a Fitbit. So that's my opinion. I think it's good. I'm going to give it a thumbs up for $14. Again, if this was $50 or $60, then no. But for $14, you just can't go wrong. Especially the blood pressure and oxygen sensor, which I didn't even realize that these things did that. That's why I had to look into it. All right, guys, that wraps it up. I will be coming back with a review of this phone soon, which I think is probably going to be another winner, I think. We'll see. Got some more smart bands. We'll have to compare. Some of them have a camera on them. I'll have to see. At that point, we may do a breakdown of which of the budget smart band, Android watch, whatever you want to call them, is the best for under 30. In fact, all these are under 20 bucks. Under 20 bucks. But for right now, I got to give a thumbs up to this one, as long as you're okay with the things I said. All right, guys, that wraps up this review of the cheap watch. Be sure if you're new to this channel, you click that subscribe button, click the bell, so you're notified when I do upload new videos. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.